Welcome back. I'm Harlan, your backyard grill sergeant. Well, I'm outside here, one of my favorite stores, Games Farmers Market. I'm getting ready to go in here and buy a full tenderloin because this weekend I'm making Hickory Smoked Filet Mignon. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this big one here. This one is 7.42 pounds. Yeah, let's take this home and smoke it. Okay, now that I got it home and opened up, let's go ahead and get it trimmed up and seasoned and ready for the smoker. Let's go ahead and start by getting this silver skin off. Now you want to get as much of the silver skin off as you can because this is actually one of the things that will make your end product very tough. So don't be afraid to take just a little bit of meat with it if you need to. Bit of fat right here. I don't really like the way that looks. That's kind of tough looking fat, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. Now let's flip it over and see what's on the other side. Alright, there's a bunch of little pieces of fat on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Now that we have it all trimmed up, let's go ahead and start with some seasoning. I'm going to start with some coarse kosher salt. Now one thing I like to do is I like to just bring one hand along like this. It'll just help kind of prevent salt from bouncing all over the countertop. Now we're going to use some coarse black pepper. Go ahead and don't be afraid to pat that in like this. That'll help the salt and pepper stick to the meat. Now in case you're wondering, yes, I am touching this with my bare hands, but I thoroughly wash my hands. Alright, so once you get the desired amount on there, now I'm going to use McCormick's steak rub. There we go. There, that allows you to see about how much seasoning is on there. Now I'm going to flip it over and repeat the process. Alright, first start with the salt. Now, some people like to mix their rub all together ahead of time and then put it all on at once. Perfectly fine. There's this is just the way I like to do it. The reason I do it this way is I put my ingredients to my rub on individually. Is just so that I can see how much of each product I'm putting on, and really that's the only reason. But most people, they'll actually just mix their rub all together first and then put it on, which is good too. And then lastly, some more McCormick's steak rub on this side. Okay, I've got it all seasoned. As you can see, this is about how much seasoning I decided to put on here. Really, it's up to you. You can put nothing on, or you could put more on. It's perfectly okay. Whatever, it's what you want. But I find that for this size of meat, for this amount of seasoning, is just about right. So okay, so let's go ahead and get it wrapped up and ready for the refrigerator. So now I like to take a Pyrex like this and set the whole tenderloin inside the Pyrex. Just like that. Now, one thing that's really important when you're handling large pieces of meat like this is that every single time you touch the meat, before you touch something that's not the meat, you need to wash your hands in between. So let's go wash my hands. Okay, now you just take some extra strength plastic wrap and cover the whole dish like this. Now that the tenderloin is all seasoned and covered up, it's time to just put it in the refrigerator and wait until tomorrow. Okay, here we go. Just putting it in here. And now I'm just gonna leave it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight. Right now it's about 4 p.m. on Sunday, and tomorrow, Monday, which will be Veterans Day, I'm gonna take it out around 10 o'clock and we're gonna go ahead and get it on the smoker. Well, it is the next morning. It is about 10:45 in the morning. So my plan with this is to get the filet onto the smoker and let it come up to temperature to about 145 degrees, which would be like a rare, medium rare, and then let it rest and then slice it up and finish it off on the grill. So let's get started with that. I have the tenderloin all unwrapped and ready to go, so let's get it on. All right. So one thing I noticed right away about this tenderloin, it is much thicker on one end as it is the other. So I'm going to have the thicker end facing towards the firebox. And also I'm going to take my heat probes here, my temperature probes, and I'm going to actually use two in this tenderloin. I'm going to use one in the thinner end of it, and I'm going to use one in the thicker end because I want to monitor the temperature in both ends of this tenderloin so one side doesn't get overcooked. I almost forgot to mention the actual temperature that I'll be cooking the tenderloin at. I'm going to maintain a temperature between 225 and 250 degrees inside the smoker. As you can see here, the temperature of the thicker part of the tenderloin is actually quite a bit cooler than the thinner part, so I am happy that I put that second temperature probe in there, and you can see the temperature of the smoke pit right here is 243 degrees currently. So I'm just going to keep an eye on these as they start coming up. All right, the meat's been on here for just about an hour, so let's open it up and take a quick look. Let's see. Yeah, it's starting to dry out just a little bit on the surface, so I'm going to go ahead and squirt it down. This is just 50% apple cider vinegar and 50% water. There we go. It's been just about 2 hours, and as you can see, the temperature is starting to come up. They're actually starting to get a little bit closer. They're within about 14 degrees from one end of the fillet to the other. I'm actually going to let this keep going until this is actually closer to this temperature. One thing that I have noticed with the filet is that because of the really low fat content, the surface actually tends to be drying out quite a bit faster than normal. So I've actually just been kind of coming in here and giving this a squirt about once every half an hour just to keep it moist. It is now 1:45 in the afternoon, and you can see the temperature has come to a nice medium rare on the thick side of the fillet. So now it is time to take it off, wrap it, and let it rest for a couple hours until it's time to cut it up and finish it off on the grill. Wowee, look at that color. Look how nice and red that is. Go ahead and take the heat probes out of this. Go ahead and take it out and put it in the Pyrex dish. There, as you can see here, it is now in the Pyrex dish. I'm gonna actually cheat and just take a tiny little slice off the very end of this. Just a, look at that. Look at how juicy the inside of that is, and that's without even resting. I'm gonna taste this. Oh wow, that is amazing. Go ahead and cover this up and let it rest. Now I'm just gonna take and put this in the oven. I'm not gonna have the temperature on. It's just gonna be in there. It's just going to be a nice warm environment for it to rest until later when it comes time to slice it up and put it on the grill. Okay, here we go. In the oven it goes. It's just going to sit in here and let it rest. It is now 5 o'clock in the evening, and it is time to go ahead and slice this thing up and get it ready for, to put on the grill. So let's start at one end and see how it looks. Let's see. Wow, look at that. That looks beautiful. Nice and tender. Cuts like butter. Let's take a look at towards the middle. Wow, look at that. That is just awesome. It smells amazing. I wish I had smell-o-vision for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish cutting these up. All right, now that I got them all sliced up, I'm just gonna lay them out like this and put some more seasoning on them. Look at that, how juicy and delicious. All right, start with a little salt. Some pepper. And some McCormick steak seasoning. There we go. Get that patted into the steaks. Just like that. Flip them over. Now the other side. Now that the steaks are all seasoned, I'm gonna let them sit for a few minutes. The grill is coming up to temperature. Once that's ready, we're gonna get them on there and finish these off. Ooh, don't those look delicious? Some of these steaks, I'm actually basically just going to be doing both sides, putting a good sear on each side of the steak. And those are going to be just about done. And some of them I'm going to actually take to a well done. Okay, I cooked these steaks for a couple of minutes on each side. So let's go ahead and open this up. Wow, look at that. So tender. Look, just one pass right through. Time for the taste test. It's time for the taste test. Let's try this out. Wow, look at that. Look at just, it stretches just a little bit and just pulls apart nice and easy. Wow. That is an amazing steak. That is really good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.